Congratulations on your new dog, Apache. I'm going to go ahead and give you a little tutorial on these basic commands. I'll start off with the collar first, show you the correct way to put it on. You want to make sure it's on. Once you turn it on, go ahead. This collar is going to go as high up behind the left ear as possible. Okay. It needs to be tight, but not too tight. You don't want it to be loose to the point where it can slide around his neck. It needs to stay snug behind the left ear. And once you get this connected, your remote is going to control it. Your bottom button is going to be a nick. That means it's going to only send out one correction. Your top button, when you hold it, is going to be a continuous. It's going to send out corrections until you release the button. On this dial, it goes from level 1 being the lowest all the way up to 7 being the highest. You always want to start at the lowest level. For him, it's going to be about a 1 or a 2 because of his thicker undercoat. So once you have that set, you're good to go, and I'll go ahead and show you all your basic commands. Okay, right now we'll do stay. Your stay is your palm facing him with your fingers down. You're going to just say stay. Once you've told him to stay, if you want him to come, you would use his name and extend your arm out with your palm facing him, and then you're going to bring it back towards you. Now once he's already coming towards you, when he gets to the position you want him to sit, you want to go ahead and show him to sit. So that way he sits right in front of you and gives you his attention. Now the sit command is your palm, very similar to stay. It's facing down, and then you're just simply bringing it up. Sit. Okay? So I'll go ahead and show you stay. Then we're going to tell him to come. Apache, come. And then sit. Okay, so down is going to be with your palm facing him, bringing it above him, and then you're bringing it down. Stay. Now heel is going to be a pat on your left side. Dog's always heeled on the left. And then you're just going to go ahead and start walking. Okay? Heel. Sit. No. Heel. Sit. Now dogs always heel on your left, and when you come to a stop, they should always sit on your left. Not in front of you, or not too far behind you, but right here. Now when you heel, the correction for heel, if he's not following you, will be a nick. You hit the bottom button one time, but just before you send the correction, you have to say no. So you would say no, and then hit the correction button. Okay? Now whenever I'm turning to the left, if he's pushing to my right, there's no correction needed besides no, and you bring your knees up to bump them. Heel. Let me see if I can try to show you. No. Good boy. Sit. Now to turn to the right, if he's following too far behind, or if he's too far out, you turn to the right and say no, and then hit the correction. Heel. And he should stay by your side. If he's already in front of you, don't go after him. Just turn around, say no, heel, and he should come to you. Sit. If he doesn't, you just continue correcting and repeating no, heel, until he's where he should be. So go ahead and show you one more time. Down, stay, Apache, come, sit, good boy, and heel. Sit, good boy, stay. Now go ahead and show you the release commands. If you were to be fighting or playing with a ball, the release command is out. When you say out, he'll let it go. Good boy, come on. Heel, sit. Good boy. Out. Good boy. Stay. Now, things to know about Apache. If you ever see that he's excited or that he's ready to go after something, you want to tell him out. That's going to be the first thing to let him know not to bite, to release, and to sit down. And then after that command, you would tell him relax. Okay, with relax, you want to give him praise so that he can be calm and understand that there's no threat around, that he can just relax. Okay, he gets a little excited around other dogs, so when you see that, just tell him no, relax, and praise him, give him some pets. And if you ever see him to the point where he wants to go after something, you would say, no, out. That should let him know that he needs to release and sit down, and then you would follow after that with a relax. Stay. Now, his bite command, whenever you want him to bite something, you would tell him, attack. Good boy. Out. Sit. Good boy. I'm not going to go ahead and say it again because I don't want him to bite it again, but the A word will let him know that he needs to bite whatever's around him. Now, if you want him to pay attention and be alert, you would simply tell him watch. That command lets him know that he needs to watch his surroundings and know what's going on. If a threat comes in, he will automatically attack without you having to say the command. If you do not want him to, you simply tell him out, he should sit, and then you tell him relax. That's going to let him know that everything is okay and there's no threat that he needs to worry about. Stay. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you the basic corrections. If you tell Apache to go down and he doesn't want to listen to you, if you were to have a leash on him, you would simply say no, snap, towards the ground, and repeat the command down. Once he does it, you tell him good boy and give him praise. If you want him to sit, Apache come, and he were not to sit, you would pull up and tell him to sit. The tension is going to let him know that he needs to sit. Once he's in the sit position, you go ahead and let go of the tension and praise him. Okay? If he were ever in the sit position and he were to go down and you wanted him to stay in the sit position, you would simply say no, sit, and pull him up into the position you'd like. Now for stay, if you were to tell him to stay and he were to get up and move, let's say he came over here, and I wanted him to stay over there. I would take the leash if I were to have him on the leash and correct him the entire way back. No, 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 sit, stay. Now this time I'm going to hold the tension for a second so that he understands that I have control. I would tell him stay. I can let go of the tension and praise him because he did well. Then I will go ahead and repeat the command, stay. Anytime you want him to stay, you have to let him know. If I just tell him to sit, he's going to sit, and if I walk away, he may follow. If I want him to sit and stay, it's sit and stay. Now, with a longer line, if you were to have him on leash, and you were to tell him Apache come, and he were to not listen, you would grab the leash and snap it towards you, but you would say no just before the snap. So it would be no, Apache, come, sit. Good boy. Your correction, no, is always followed by a snap. You never want to snap and say no after. The no has to come just before the snap. Now off leash, all those corrections would be done the same, but rather a snap, you're using either your nick or your continuous. Your nick is all your minor corrections that you're snapping to fix minor mistakes. Your continuous would be in a situation where he decided to take off and chase after a cat or a dog or whatever it were that triggered his prey drive. Then you would turn up the dial to about 4 or 5. Never anything less than that in those situations, because his pain threshold is going to be much higher because of his desire for the prey. So in that moment, you would dial it up instantly, and then you would hold the continuous. As you're holding it, you want to shout out an extended no, and then release the button, and then tell it to come. Apache, come. If that were not to work, simply turn it all the way up, and then repeat those steps. And you continue no, releasing the button, Apache, come, until he comes. Now, all your minor corrections are your nicks. So if you were to tell him to stay, and he were to get up and move to a different position, you would take him back, and just how I corrected with the leash, by snapping the entire way back, I'm now going to hit the nick the entire way back. So it's no, 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 sit, stay, or down, stay. Whichever position he was in, you have to put him back in that position. Apache, come. If you were to tell him to come and he didn't want to come, you would simply say, no, Apache, come, sit. And that's how you would correct.